begin our more in-depth look at the African continent by visiting some of its dry northern nations. Altogether, there are 13 of them, plus one disputed territory. They are Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Morocco, the territory of Western Sahara, Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, and Sudan. Algeria, which covers nearly 1 million square miles, is Africa's largest country in terms of land area. And when it comes to African cities, Cairo, Egypt, has the continent's largest metropolitan area. The majority of people who live in northern Africa are Muslims, meaning they are followers of Islam, the religion based on the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad and its sacred book, the Quran. Islam was brought to northern Africa by invaders and merchants from nearby Arabia, Muhammad's birthplace, over 13 centuries ago. That is why Arabic is the main language spoken in this part of Africa, and why Islamic architecture and traditional ways of dress are so commonplace here today. Perhaps the best-known geographical feature of northern Africa is the Sahara Desert, which is the largest desert in the world. It extends across almost all of the northern part of Africa, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. Most of its arid lands lie at a fairly low elevation, but in certain areas, mountain peaks rise over 10,000 feet above sea level. The Sahara Desert has one of the harshest climates on Earth. It's a place where temperatures soar to above 130 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer, where blowing northeasterly winds create giant sand dunes and frequently cause enormous dust storms. The Sahara is also a very dry place. In fact, half of its lands receive less than 0.8 of an inch of rain per year. Naturally, not many plants can tolerate such severe conditions, and that's why a lot of this desert is almost completely devoid of vegetation. However, in a few very special locations, water rises to the surface from deep underground aquifers to form beautiful oases like this one, where palm trees grow. Small towns are sometimes located in oases too, and many of them are places that the nomadic Berber people of the Sahara Desert visit whenever they want to buy or sell things, and to rest their weary camels. The Berbers of today are the descendants of the ancient pre-Arabic inhabitants of northern Africa, many of whom speak their own distinct language. The Nile River is the world's longest river, as well as the most important source of fresh water in the Sahara region. From its headwaters in East Africa, the Nile flows 4,130 miles northward until it enters the Mediterranean Sea. As it crosses the Sahara Desert, it supplies essential water to Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, and to Cairo, Egypt, too. Not far from where it empties into the Mediterranean Sea, the great river splits up into channels to form the Nile Delta, a large triangular area of rich, well-watered farmland that has provided food for Egyptians for many thousands of years. The Nile Delta was created over eons of time from the fertile soil that washed from the riverbanks far upstream during heavy annual rains. Having a reliable food supply and abundant water from the Nile River allowed the people of Egypt to develop one of the world's first great civilizations there over 5,000 years ago. And that's the reason so many magnificent ancient buildings are found near the great river today. The Nile provided the ancient people with a marvelous transportation route too, a kind of desert highway, where small ships could move loads of building materials, trade goods, travelers, and food over long distances with ease. It's interesting to note that an important man-made waterway called the Suez Canal lies just to the east of the Nile River Delta. It cuts across a narrow band of the Sahara Desert, providing a direct shipping channel between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. The Suez Canal was constructed by the nation of France over 150 years ago. And today, this vital transportation link allows the huge freighter and tanker ships that travel between Asia and Europe and the Americas to completely avoid the long sea journey around the southern tip of Africa. Another important feature of the geography of northern Africa are the Atlas Mountains, a system of rocky ranges that run for a distance of about 1,600 miles across the upper northwestern corner of the continent that form a natural boundary to the Sahara Desert in that region. Much of the land of Morocco is located in the Atlas Mountains, as are almost all of the northernmost parts of the nations of Algeria and Tunisia. The highest peak of the Atlas Ranges, Toubkal Mountain in Morocco, is 13,671 feet tall and is frequently covered with snow. Just to the south of the Sahara Desert lies yet another unique geographical region of northern Africa known as the Sahel. The Sahel region extends 3,400 miles from the Atlantic Ocean in the west to the Red Sea in the east. The Sahel is a belt of land up to 620 miles in width that serves as a transitional zone between the very dry, nearly plant-free Sahara Desert and the moister lands of the wooded savanna to the south. Much of this territory is covered in grass, dotted with thorny shrubs, and occasional baobab trees like this one. The Tuaregs, a unique subgroup of the Berber people, inhabit many parts of the Sahel, as well as the interior regions of the Sahara Desert. Most Tuaregs follow a nomadic lifestyle as livestock herders. The lands of the Sahel are mostly flat and are of fairly low elevation, although isolated plateaus and small mountain ranges can be found in certain places. The Dogon people of Mali inhabit some of these rugged areas. The Dogon live in fascinating villages and are well known for their wood carving and other artwork. Annual rainfall in the Sahel varies from around 7 inches in its drier northern parts up to around 24 inches in its more forested southern areas. For years, lack of rain and overgrazing by farm animals caused a lot of useful land in the Sahel to turn into desert, a process called desertification. One of Africa's largest rivers, the Niger River, flows through the Sahel nations of Mali and Niger. The Niger River provides lots of much-needed water for farming, drinking, and hydroelectric power. And it provides an excellent transportation route for small boats as well.